Okay, I'm going to start the music right now.
Okay, that's great. Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
I think it was a little early on my hay, but that was okay. This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast. This is the one where we take the album of the week and we're doing Black Flag's Damaged, and we take the artist of the week and we rank all of their records from the worst best to their best. And this week we're going to do all of Black Flag's 7 records and possibly their EPs. And my name is Tyler. Way out there, hundreds of miles away, way out there in the ether, is Jeff. Go to iTunes, go rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. Now, Jeff, let's jump into this. Do we want to do how do we want to do the rankings with the EPs and the full lengths? What do you want to do?
I mean, I ranked the EPs along with the full lengths. So if there's anything that I want to talk about, we could do so, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll play it by ear.
I didn't really do that. I just ranked the EPs. I know we kind of talked about putting them in between them all, but I couldn't do it. It was too tough for me to throw them in there with the albums. It was.
Okay, so you have your EP rankings then?
I have my EP rankings, yeah.
I mean, mine are also ranked because I highlighted them in blue, so I know they're EPs.
Oh, okay. You just want to run through those really quick, and then we'll go through the LPs?
Yeah, I guess we're not doing the Tom DeLonge thing anymore, but yeah, we can do the EPs real quick.
Shit,
let's just do it. It's fine.
I'm sorry.
It's
No,
okay.
let's do it. No, you got 3 of them. I blinked.
I did the work,
sorry.
and it's not a big deal. It's fine. We can just kill it. It's fine. It's done. It's over.
No, I'm sorry. We have our 6
thing of
degrees
the
with Tom
past.
DeLonge. Before we do the Black Flag stuff, we're going to do our 6 degrees with Tom DeLonge. If you don't know what that is, look up the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Same idea, but with Tom DeLonge. We're taking the artist of the week, connecting it to Tom. Boom, there you go. I didn't have time to do it, but Jeff has a few, so let's get into that. What do you got?
This week was like an easier one. This was a fairly easy one, but I kind of kept a little theme here. So Ron Reyes, he played drums in a band called Red Cross with this guitarist named Greg Hetson. Greg Hetson has done a lot of music. He's been in a lot of bands, but mostly with Bad Religion as their longtime guitarist.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Brooks Wackerman has some stuff with Bad Religion. That was my easy one, and then Brooks to Blink. That was my easy one.
Brooks is always an easy connection.
So the next one, I'll do this one. This one was a little fun. Keith Morris. Okay. Keith Morris was in this band called Off with drummer Mario Rubalcaba. Mario was in Rocket from the Crypt and was replaced by Adam Willard.
Oh.
Adam to Tom.
There you go. Look at that.
So if you see the theme, my third...
You're going drummers, baby.
My third... Well, it was Black Flag singers outside of Rollins. My third is Dez Cadena. He was in this band called The Gentlemen in the late 90s with Duff McKagan. Duff played drums for a band called The Farts.
Great band name.
Have you heard of this band?
Never heard of The Farts, but I love it. And I don't know why no other band has had that name. That is great.
It's spelled Fartz too. It's so stupid.
It's really good.
But they were signed to Alternative Tentacles, Jello Biafra's label. Mm-hmm. TSOL was also signed to that label at some point, so that was a leap for me there. Not a direct connection. It took, I took my liberties with that one.
It's fine.
But at some point, guitarist Ron Emery, who played for TSOL, also played with Social D on occasion, and then Adam Willard has played with Social D.
With Social D. That's right. Look at that. 2 Adam Willards in one in one episode. That doesn't happen often.
I try to get all non-Rollins Black Flag singers connected to Adam Willard, but by the time I got to the third one, because the Brooks Wackerman one was my third one, and I was too tired. I didn't want to do anymore.
It is a lot of work. With some of these bands, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That was good though.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
All
I
right.
did enjoy that.
So that's the EP. Let's run through the EPs real quick.
And then we'll dive a little bit deeper into the LPs, but yeah, the EPs for sure first. So what do you got for? So wait, how many? They have
1,
8
2,
EPs.
3, 4,
They have 8.
5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 EPs.
Yeah.
8 EPs.
Okay,
8
so
EP. BLT.
8 EPs. What do you got for number 8?
8. So
EP.
let's do them in blocks of 4. Let's do like their 4 ones that you, or maybe like 2.
Like bottom 2 and top 2?
Bottom 2, and then just run through the 4 mids and then top 2. How about that?
Okay, that's good with me. Yeah.
All right. So bottom 2 for me was their third EP. It's I Can See You. That was 1989. And then the one right above it was their first EP from 1979. I Can See You. It just had this like choppy sort of way about it. I think overall this band is really cool and incorporating a lot of like surf punk vibes and just a lot of surf music in general into their music. I think that's rad. I Can See You was there was just like nothing special about this whatsoever. Nervous Breakdown, that was their first EP. Keith Morris on vocals. This was dumb, dude. I thought like, okay, I guess anybody can just fucking throw an EP out and call it a day. And it was just,
Well, yeah.
dude, this was just dreadful. For the sake of just being dreadful too. Like this was just dumb, irritating.
Wait, the Keith Morris one you said, right? The
Yeah.
first one?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that one definitely was not the best one. But it has one of my favorite Black Flag songs. Wait, is it? I'm double checking.
No way.
I think it's this one. I don't think it's the Reyes one. Yeah, it's this one.
That's silly.
It's the song I've had it. And honestly, I only know this song because Cedric did a cover of it on a Black Flag comp like 10 years ago, and it was really good. So that I knew that song. So I only knew like a handful of songs from Black Flag prior to this week.
So therefore
and
you
that's
have
one
to
of them.
like that version of the song?
Yeah, because I've heard it
Yo,
so
you're
many
such
times.
a cuck. Get
I've
the
heard the
fuck outta
Cedric
here.
one so many times. I've heard the Cedric one so many times. It's good. It's not their best. It's their second best. I'm sorry. It's their second best song. Black Flag's second best.
That's you're I'm already irritated with you.
Okay, so my bottom 2, number 8 is Annihilate This Week. Their 7th EP came out after they split. I think 2 years or 3 years after they broke up. It's just 3 live songs. It's really not bad at all. It's just not necessary. It's not, I don't know, just why put out a live EP so many years, like just 3 years after? Just put out like a comp or something. I don't know. It just seems dumb, but whatever. Not bad. Number 7 for me, real quick, is I Can See You. Their last EP, their 8th one, and much of the same reason why I didn't really care for the first one, because it came out a few years after they broke up, and it's not a live thing, but it was just like why do you need to do it? It didn't really add anything to their discography for me. Just didn't really care for it. So there you go. Not bad,
Okay.
but don't care for it.
So I
So what do you got?
I think I kind of okay. So so next to the EP, I wrote EP I Can See You, and then I wrote 3/89. And when I was reading it right now, I thought that was their third EP from 89, but what that is March of 89. Because some of these EPs
By the
and
date.
albums came out so close to each other that you
Yeah.
needed to. I felt the need to date them. So yeah,
Yeah, put the month in there, especially with the albums 3 in 1 year.
yeah. Okay. So yeah,
What do you
I guess my middle 4. I don't think they've ever done anything that I thought was just absolutely bad. Outside of, I think, Nervous Breakdown is probably the worst thing I think that they've done. But I guess my middle 4 are Minute Flag. This is the combo comp that they've done. Combo comp. And I've got nothing against it. It's a cool little thing to do. But, I mean, I don't know. There's nothing here that I'm looking for in Black Flag. So,
No.
whatever. That was... Fuck, dude. That was their third to last. So, 6.
6th EP.
Okay. Jealous Again. This had Ron Reyes on vocals. this is so much better than Nervous Breakdown, mostly because of the
Yeah.
vocals and the guitar tone. But whatever. I actually liked White Minority a lot on this. Typical fucking stupid shitty punk song, but I really liked it. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
TV Party, Rollins on vocals. It's fine. Six Pack, Dez on vocals. It's fine. So those are my middle
was your-
four. Yeah, like nothing
Okay.
here was blew me away, but I did rank some of these EPs higher than other albums, and I'll get into that when we do the albums.
Yeah, see, that was, I don't know. This one was one of those few times where it was too difficult to rank the EPs within the records. Because I usually like doing that, but it was too difficult for this time, for this one. So my middle four, Minute Flag. This is like you said, 6 EP was the collaboration with the Minutemen. And this is the only time, this is like, I guess technically their fourth singer, because D Boone did the vocals on one song. So I guess that is kind of a fourth singer. Or no, fifth singer. I'm sorry. He'd be the fifth singer. And then he died, like shortly or right before this EP came out, he died.
Yeah, well, he's
That
from
was really
the
sad.
Minutemen band.
Yeah, he was he was the guitarist singer for the band, and then he died in a car accident out in Arizona. Wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and the van flipped, and he died, unfortunately.
I don't know if it's legit, but I mean, the Minutemen have an album called Double Nickels on a Dime, and it's fucking widely influential and it's really good. But I think that's where Double Nickels Collective got
the
their
record
name
store?
from. Yeah, the record store.
No, that could be. I mean, and in Arizona where he died.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? So the next one here is Nervous Breakdown, their first EP with Keith Morris on vocals. It's not bad, but it's very much more straightforward 1970s punk. And it was pleasant. It's only, 3-4 songs, so it was pleasant.
I know some of
Not
these
bad.
were like fucking 5 minutes.
Yeah, so it wasn't, I didn't have a bad time listening to it. It's just, out of all the singers, he's my least favorite singer.
Absolutely.
Keith Morris is.
Easy.
So, and then he goes on to front like one of the most influential punk bands of all time, the Circle Jerks, which is
Yeah.
crazy to think about. Well, they are though. They're wildly influential.
They
I
are.
don't really care for them, but
I never got into them. I never heard anything that made me want to get into them. So, but I agree.
Same here. So then after that one, we got TV Party, fourth EP. First one was Rollins on Vox. And it's just, to me, this is just a good extension of their first album, Damaged. One or two of the songs on this one are on Damaged.
Yeah.
And it's just good. It's a solid Rollins EP. I really like it. So there's that one. And then the last of the middle four is Jealous Again, second EP with Ron Reyes on vocals. I always hear really, really great things about him, about this EP. And I think I was a little underwhelmed because I've always heard so many good things about it and how people say he's better than Rollins was. This EP is better than anything Rollins ever did. And it's not. It's good, but it's not as good as some of these full lengths. No way. I mean, it's crazy boy talk. So yeah, Jealous Again is my third. So let's get into your number two. What do you got?
Number two for me is Annihilate This Week. You didn't like this one. This is your least favorite, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Annihilate This
The
Week.
live one.
This is their second to last, the last one they did. This was a little more bouncy, a little more not traditional of Black Flag style. But what really set this apart for me was like the surf rock guitar sounds. Like there was so much of that in this, and maybe it was just because it's live, so there's more verb to it. But like I said, this band's done a really good job at just growing up in Hermosa and being a band in Hermosa. You're bound to get some of that surf culture incorporated into your music. And it's so subtle with this band. I fucking love that aspect. And there's a lot of things about this band that I absolutely love. And Annihilate This Week was just an absolute perfect representation of a band. Like you can tell based off of Annihilate This Week, you can tell this band is from a coastal city.
I could see that. Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
if these
but you're
guys
still
were
with
like,
this
oh yeah,
thing.
we're from fucking Gary, Indiana. You're like, what the fuck? How do you sound like this? But like, no, we're from Hermosa. Makes sense. I get it. It's cool.
Yeah, they got the pacing. They got the quick, the the quickness of the music, the upbeat music. It's very California based.
Like I'm sure these guys. I'm sure these guys at some point were. I mean, they did claim to listen to a lot of like metal and glam metal and stuff like that. But I guarantee you, they all love the Beach Boys. They all love surf rock. I guarantee you.
Yeah, or at least it was something that they grew up with, even if it's like a subconscious thing.
But they would never
Like
admit
maybe
it. 'Cause
like
that's
the
not
parents
punk.
listen to it. No, not at all. It's way more cooler to say that you grew up listening to Black Sabbath than Dick Dale or something like that, or The Ventures or something. Okay, so that was your number 2. Looks like our number 1 is going to be the same, but my number 2 is Six Pack. Their third EP. This is the one with Des Cadena on vocals. The only time he was on vocals. And yeah, I thought this was like a good departure from their first 2 EPs. Like it was, his voice was very strained. Like I thought it sounded very strained, and then reading about it, he was not a vocalist. He didn't know how to sing. He fucked up his voice when he toured with Black Flag during this era.
Yeah.
As a vocalist, he had to stop because he literally could not sing anymore because he just fucked up his vocal cords so bad. But I mean, I think it translates really well on this EP. I think he did a great job. And then after this, he stayed on as a guitar player for a little bit and then left the band, was in the Misfits and a couple other bands. But yeah, I think this is a really solid, really solid EP. I really dug this one. It totally surprised me because I thought the Ron Reyes one was going to be my favorite. And then this one came out of nowhere and just really, it was really good. So there you go. Six Pack is my number 2 EP. So what do you got for your number 1, or what do we have for our number 1?
Yeah, I guess our number 1 is The Process of Weeding Out. That is their instrumental EP. I don't even know why it's an EP. It's 30 minutes long. It's
30 minutes, yeah.
That's a fucking album, and it's only like 4 songs, and it's fucking weird, dude. It's so bizarre. Like, how did this happen?
I loved it though.
How did what?
It's like they took the weirdest parts of their full lengths and threw it into this EP. It's crazy. It was crazy good.
And but this was after like Family Man, and
yeah,
I mean, you know, that was weird, and for whatever that's worth, and people were pissed about that, and they just like doubled down on it and then did this. And it's like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was just shocked.
I was totally taken, you know, caught off guard. It was wild. It was great. It was really, really great.
It was good. It was good.
I would definitely get this on vinyl. I kept meaning to look up like what albums I wanted on vinyl on Discogs, but I imagine you can get a lot of these for under $20.
I mean, you can get like repressings of these, but I guarantee you, dude, some of these like original like 7 inches of these EPs
they're gonna
and
go
shit,
for hundreds.
dude, I know they're probably so much fucking money. It's irritating.
Yeah, it's stupid, stupid money. I'm sure. But no,
Dumbass music.
I don't care. I'll get a repress. I'll get a fucking repress for $20. Worth it. So as long as I have it, as long as I can listen to it, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 things I would definitely. I'm going to start looking for now.
I think I would pretty much get everything. When it comes to the albums, I would get my top 5 on vinyl. Bottom 2 I would not get. And then EP wise, I would probably just get my top 3. So The Process, Six Pack, and then Jealous again would be the only ones I get the EPs of. But the full lengths, I'd get most of them on vinyl. 5 of the 7 on vinyl. But anyway, let's get into that then. What do you got for the worst or the least best Black Flag record, number 7? What do you got?
In My Head. This is their 6th album, 85. To me, this was weird. I didn't understand it. It was like this kind of post-hardcore sound. It was heavy and chuggy, but then a little goofy at times. And it was like, it wasn't bad. It was just very okay. It was very boring. Nothing really stood out. There wasn't much for me to hate. There was nothing for me to like. It was very warm. It was Luke. No, I don't like using that. It was very Qui-Gon warm. That's what it was.
I don't like using.
Because I don't like using lukewarm because that's not fair. That's not
fair to Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. So this was very Qui-Gon warm.
Okay.
Forgettable.
I don't know why you're such a Qui-Gon hater, but that's fine.
Because he's overrated.
No,
at the least.
Do you remember? You remember when I was out there
Fucking
last? We were trying to
least.
figure out the theory that we had come up with the prior time I was out.
I still think it had something to do with why Darth Maul was somewhere at some time.
It had to do with Darth Maul and Qui-Gon, but I don't remember what it was. But I think it put Qui-Gon in a better light for you, so you ended up liking him more.
I don't know. I've been hating Qui-Gon for a long time.
I know.
It had to have been a really good theory.
I wish I could remember that theory because it was perfect. It was a perfect theory.
Perfect theory.
It was a perfect theory. Yeah. I don't throw that term out very often, but okay. So that was your number 7 was In My Head.
Yeah.
What was your favorite song of this
I
one?
didn't have a
VB?
favorite song. Didn't care.
Okay.
No.
All right. So my least favorite. I really didn't like this record.
I know. I know what it is.
What is it?
It's Family Man for sure. 100%.
No, it's not Family Man. No,
No
it's not Family
fucking
Man.
way. It's not Family Man.
It's not Family Man.
What is it?
It's when I listened to this, I was like, dude, I really hope the rest of the discography is not like this because I was just like, I was bummed. It's My War, their second record.
Wow.
I did not like this. I even went back and listened to it after listening to everything else. I thought I'll go back to it, see if I dislike it as much, and I'd still like. It's those guitar tones. They're so muffled. They just sound terrible. This is like when when Greg Ginn was really going for it and trying to do something weird with his guitar playing. But it was messy to the point of just being bad. Like he's a very messy guitar player, but it's okay. Like it has its charm. It has its place. But this was just, it was bad. It was really slow. It was very sludgy. It was a mess. It was a fucking mess of a record. I just did not like it. I don't have a favorite off this one.
I'm just fucking
This one just
surprised
did not
that
do it for me.
that or Family Man is not your worst.
Why?
Come on, Tyler. Come on.
I mean, who knows
Come
where
on.
it's at? But
I'm fucking surprised not your worst. It's probably your second worst though. All right, so after my worst album, I put 4 EPs. I put I Can See You, Nervous Breakdown, Minute Flag, Jealous Again, and then I ranked my second worst, Black Flag, which even if somebody
that's a lot
gave
of
me
EP.
like an original pressing of this, I'd probably still purge it because I don't like this. I don't want to go back to it.
Oh God, what is it?
But My War, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It was
good.
it was stupid. It sounded dumb. And like my biggest problem with this is side A, like the punk side. Like side B slowed things down and became heavy and really fucking good. And people hated it. People shit all over it and said like, there was too metal and fucking they're not punk anymore and like, they're already selling out fucking less than a year after their first. So it's just shut up. Like My War is just an extension of their first album, and they tried to do something a little bit different. Yeah, dude, absolutely. My War is just a little bit. I don't want to say polished because it's definitely not polished, but it's an extension
Sounds
of.
terrible.
It's an extension of their first album where they wanted to get a little bit more experimental, but didn't know quite how to do it. And I think Greg Ginn is not like. I mean, he's nothing to write home about guitar wise, but
No.
I think that his tenacity, like his ambitiousness is what really drives this band forward. And My War was just, it was 2 different records. Side A and side B were totally different. And it had no purpose. It had no, what do you call it? It had no soul to it. It just didn't make any sense. It was too disjointed. I didn't understand it. Didn't like it. And I did like side B though. Like the side B was, like I said, the metal side, the slower, the chuggier, the non-traditional punk side. But it still didn't.
It was too messy. It wasn't. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, it didn't sound good.
Much. Yeah.
I mean, that's why it's my second to last. I don't think any of this sounded good. It was like if you and I were to write something like this and then record it like the day we decided to write it. It's just sloppy.
Yeah,
it's just
true.
fucking dumb. I don't know. This should have been like an EP. Like this should have been split up into 2 EPs, and that would have been
Yeah,
fine.
I could see that. Yeah, that would probably have been better. Still not enough to buy the EP, but yeah. Okay, so you don't have a favorite on this one either?
I do. I like 3 Nights. 3 Nights was on the second side. I like when Rollins does spoken word stuff, man, and that song had like, you know, the second side was nothing but like 5 or 6 minute songs. And for the middle part of 2 minutes was just kind of Rollins talking, and it was cool. I dig it. I like it.
Okay. All right.
Would never buy it.
No, yeah, definitely would never buy My War. I would like you. If I had it, if I got it for free, I would purge it. I would definitely purge it. Would not keep it. So my number 6 is In My Head. So we just kind of switched
what is going on?
Our bottom 2. So yeah, In My Head, their 6th record, their last of the Rollins era full lengths, and this one is just, it takes a little bit from every album, and it didn't wow me in any aspect. It didn't wow me on the craziness. It didn't wow me on the hardcore punk stuff. Nothing really stood out. Like, it just kind of like trudged along, kind of did its thing, but that was it. I mean, the one song, Out of This World, was good. It was just like a good straight up punk song. Like, this was like a throwback to the Keith Morris era, I felt. Maybe Ron Reyes era. Like, it was just more of a punk song. And it was really good. That was a really good one, but yeah, overall it wasn't a very, it's not a bad record, but I would never buy it. Never go out of my way to buy it.
Just so forgettable.
I might keep it. If it was free, I would keep it.
Dang.
But I would never, I wouldn't purge it, because it's not a bad record, but I would never buy it. Ever buy it.
Okay.
So that's my number 6. What do you got for number 5?
Number 5. So in between My War, which was my number 6, I put TV Party for the EP, 6-pack for the EP, and then I put my number 5. And my number 5 is Loose Nut, their 5th album.
Yeah.
From May, which is 5, of 1985. Look at all those 5s. Weird.
That's a lot of 5s.
That's some Illuminati stuff right there. That's probably like
That is.
Freemasonry, stuff like that. Something's going to happen. And then I'll blame it on this. That's what we do. Loose Nut. This was, I don't know. This was kind of cool. It was more like the traditional punk sound. This is like Damaged, but with better production and more fleshed out songs. But in doing so, they're getting rid of some of the aggression. And I don't hate this album. I don't have a favorite song. I don't hate this album. I like it overall, but I just think that they took some of the personality out of the band with this album.
Is it Loose Nut or Loose Nuts?
I don't know.
I think it's Loose Nuts.
Loose Nuts.
These nuts.
This is Knuck and Futs.
My number 5 is Slip It In, their 4th record. This one,
I cannot
this is a really good
Family
record.
Man is so high for you. I'm fucking blown away.
This is a really good record. I really liked it, but it's an extension of the second half of Family Man. Like, it's all the weird, wonky, long instrumental parts, but with a lot of Rollins too. And it's just, but it needs to be more concise. Like, it was really good, but if it was a little bit shorter, or the songs were a little bit shorter, and it would have been better for me. But it's still a solid record. I would definitely go out and buy it for a decent price, cheap price. But there were just so many better records than this one. And I don't have a favorite off this one. Not to say that anything's bad, because nothing was bad on it. Nothing grossed me out. It was just, it was a good record through and through. It was a good one, but I'd rather listen to Family Man or another one of their more hardcore related records. So that's my number 5 is Slip It In. So what do you got for number 4?
Are you joking my ass right now? Are you really putting Family Man in your top 4?
Why are you so obsessed with Family Man?
Because the first half of it is the bane of your existence. Like, your kryptonite. Like, what you fucking absolutely hate in music is half of that album.
How do you know I hate it? How do you know I hate it?
You hate all spoken word. You hate all poetry. You hate all things
I?
that are lyric based and no music and just some dude fucking ranting and raving, and not even in a good quality production standpoint either at times.
Maybe that was its charm. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm all over the place now. You got me. You got me like Tears for Fears got me.
Oh my God. No. Album's not good.
Okay, number 4.
That song is not good.
Get the fuck out. It's not good. Number 4. I would probably buy all of these actually if I saw this, because I really enjoyed this. I was really surprised at how fucking amazing this was. But their last one, right? Like, what the?
Oh yeah.
What the? Their last one, 2013, fucking centuries after their sixth album came out, and
28 years, I think, right? Or 25 years?
yeah, it was
Something like that.
yeah, it was. I mean, it might as well have been like 100 years. So
Yeah, it's so weird.
it's just what a pleasant surprise though overall with little expectations I had, and this one just made me really happy. I was just really excited. It was a really good punk record, and it wasn't like too complex, and like these guys have grown as musicians, and you know, like they've gotten better at their instruments, and they could write a more complex punk's album, and trying to get a little bit more technical with their solos and do a little bit more drum fills that are not the same drum fills they would do when they're 16, but they kept it simple, but not like too simple to where it was stupid and just a reiteration of like Damaged or their early albums. It was like a perfect combination of their entire like existence as a band. It was so damn good. And I fucking love Ron Reyes on vocals. If it wasn't for Ron's spoken word stuff, Ron Reyes is my favorite vocalist for Black Flag.
Really?
Easy.
Interesting.
Easy.
Huh. Wow, you're one of those people, huh?
I am one of those people.
Damn.
But I like the song "Go Away" from what the. I like the song "Go Away." I mean, much like in punk fashion, you just repeat a chorus like that. Go away, go away, and that's gonna be catchy. But this had a rad bass line, and it was cool. And I don't know.
It does, yeah.
Just to still do the same thing after. I mean, that sounds horrible, but still do the same thing after. Fucking what 30? I think how long we've been alive, essentially. Maybe a couple years, well, like a decade before we were born, but almost as long as we've been alive, or 40 years. Like these guys doing the same thing, and to put out an album like for so long after it's impressive, and to keep this energy, to keep the passion, I think is something to be admired.
It almost reminds me of like Van Halen getting back with David Lee Roth and putting out that record. Like it was a solid record. Like it wasn't bad at all, but it just it wasn't as great as everything David Lee Roth had done before with Van Halen, but it was still a solid output 35 years later.
Yes.
So that's kind of how I thought about this record. Like, dude, Ron Reyes with Greg on guitar, like it was still a great combination. Like they kind of picked up where they left off in 1979 or 80, whenever that EP came out.
It was just fun, man. Just like a bunch of guys who had forgotten why they started Black Flag in the first place got together. Like a fucking movie, dude. This is like a movie. It's like a movie when a bunch of guys like were in a band and then went their separate ways, but then met up one day at like some kid's bar mitzvah or like a quinceañera or something, and then they all went to the garage and they picked up the instruments and they got back together, baby. That'd be good. That'd be a good movie.
It would be a movie, that's for sure. Oh God. Okay, so What the is your number 4, right?
Yeah.
All right, so my number 4 is Loose Nuts. These Nuts. The 5th record. This one it's really good. I was very surprised by it because it isn't very like wanky or sloppy. It has its moments, but overall it's like it's not a hardcore punk record like Damaged was, or it's this weird like almost it's just upbeat punk, but it's not like super overly angry, not super overly wanky like I said. Like it was a really good listen, and my favorite song is Best One Yet. It's more of it's a fun punk song. I don't know, some really catchy drum parts, some really great fills. I like the vocals a lot. It's a really fun record. Really, really fun record. I was very surprised by this one, like being so late within that era of the band and everything I had heard up until then. I was very, very, very surprised by this one, how much I enjoyed it. So, okay. Loose Nuts is my number 4.
Loose Nuts sing
what do you
ships.
Got for? Yes, they do. So what do you got for number 3?
So before 3, in between 4 and 3, I had Annihilate This Week and then The Process of Weeding Out. But I almost put The Process of Weeding Out right above my third. My third's Damaged, the album of the week.
Okay. All right. So then I guess we won't talk about that right now. That's low. Still higher than I thought you were going to put it, but it's still very low.
It's in the right spot.
Well, that's debatable.
That's fact.
I'm glad you didn't put, the EP above it. I'm very happy about that.
I almost did though.
I'm glad you didn't. Very glad you didn't. So my number 3 is their 7th record, What The, with Ron Reyes.
Fuck?
Like we were just talking about. I mean, this is just
You got to be joking my ass.
This is just a good punk record, a really, really good punk record. Like we were talking about it 30 years later. And I think there's like 21 or 22 songs on this record. And it's just, I wasn't bored at all. It was just a lot of fun. The production's really weird on it. I can't place like what's going on with the sounds, like with the bass tones. It doesn't sound right, but it doesn't sound bad. There's something very, very unusual about this record, but I cannot figure out what it is. But it was really good. I was really, really, really surprised. And then of course, Greg's, reputation is that he hates everybody in his band. So that's why they've had 30 fucking members. So originally Ron Reyes quit the band in the 70s because he didn't like all the fighting and violence at the show. So he quit mid-show. And then when the second time around when he was in the band, Greg fired him on stage in the middle of a show because they were fighting with each other. And then Mike Vallely, the skateboarder, came up, finished the set, and now he's been the singer ever since. So Ron Reyes has left the band twice under the same circumstances, essentially like on stage in the middle of a show. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's stupid. This band is ridiculous.
Yeah, very ridiculous. But I do like that Rollins has never reunited with them. I do like that. It's very Jello of him.
Yeah.
Where he refuses to get back together with the original band. I do respect that. But no, What Does really good. My favorite song is Like You, Go Away. Best song. And what really stood out with me on this song, I don't know if you remember or you may have to go back and listen, but his Poway accent, I mean, it's like
really?
It's like Tom DeLonge, marble mouth, full blown Poway accent. Like I couldn't this is like the only song where he really had that accent, and I thought it was so funny. But it was so good. Like that Poway accent totally worked for him. And it was very strange, but it was a good song, great album. So that's my number 3. Is What The, and fans hate it. Black Flag fans fucking hate this record. So,
Black Flag fans are stupid. They're
it
fucking
seems that way,
dude,
right?
They're fucking dumb. like they, oh my god, they're so stupid. Like everything about them is just awful. They hate like everything they do. Everything Black Flag does, they hate. But not only do they hate, but then they get violent, and it's just like, that's I don't know.
Their whole history is wild.
It's so stupid.
Truly is. So, what do you got for your number 2?
Number 2, Slip It In. This is their 4th album. I think this is a good mix of everything they've been doing. It shows how much this band had grown, but still kept the energy and the angst. And I think like this sounds like a band that grew up but is still having fun. That's still that hasn't forgotten their roots, I guess. Like it's just it's good. It's a good representation, and I thought that this was like the more popular outside of a couple tracks from Damage. I thought this was going to be the more popular of their albums. I don't think that it is at this point.
No, definitely not.
But besides Damage, I think this is their most popular album.
Maybe. I think strictly on the album cover.
But whatever. The bars.
It's good though.
The bars. The song is cool because it shows how much like Greg Ginn has grown, because his solo is way more technical than we've ever heard from him. But it's still, but he can still dumb it down to like that punk sound by just hitting those single notes. So it's down, 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 and then wanking, and then so still incorporating like those two things, I think is rad, because when you're first soloing as a punker, you're not very good. You're very fucking sloppy, and so you used a lot of those single notes to kind of drive the solo forward, to bring it back around to when the singer can come in or the drummer can pick it up again. But I think in Slip It In, they found like their best musicianship, but not like their best songwriting. Yeah,
I mean, the songs are just a little too long. That's really the drawback of that record, is the songs are a little too long. And that's songwriting.
If All Those still has this, because he was selling it for $60, but it's like an OG copy, straight out of '84, baby. So if I can make some money this weekend, I might buy this, dude. I might pick it up.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
I mean, he'll probably hook it up for like $50, and that's not.
It's not terrible for an original of a band this influential. That's not bad.
Yeah.
When fucking AFI Sing the Sorrows going for 500. Yeah, it's not bad.
That's annoying.
Yeah. I don't know. I brought that up. I don't know why I brought that up. It just makes me so mad.
Because it's annoying. It's so stupid. And it means nothing. And there's no reason for it.
Exactly. Okay. So that was your number 2. So my number 2 is Family Man.
Oh, man.
This one fucking surprised me. Much like you being surprised that I like it so much. I don't know. Like I'm not a fan of spoken word, but Henry Rollins has a way of talking that really just draws me in. I don't know what it is, can't explain it, but I listen. It was good, and I even text you. I even text you this week. I said, like, is this whole record just all spoken word? Because I was like 5 tracks in, and it was just there's no instruments, and I thought, okay. This is Rollins, this is what he does. But then I ended up really liking it. I went back and listened to this record a couple times. I really like this record. It was fantastic. And just having half of the album spoken word, half of the album instrumental, and then the track in the center is both of is an actual song, but it's like an 8-minute song of just wanking and him doing spoken word. It was great. It was fantastic. I loved it all. Like I really want this record on vinyl. Really, really want this on vinyl. So it was great. My favorite song is I think it's the last song. The Pups Are Dogging It. It's one of the instrumental ones, obviously. Dude, this one just kind of like blew me away. That not only is the guitar super wanky and kind of messy, but that walking bass line throughout parts of it is just, dude, it gets me. I was so like entranced by that song, by this entire record, honestly. I really got nothing bad to say about Family Man. It's through and through a fantastic record, and I'm just as surprised as you. I can't believe I liked it as much as I did.
I thought for sure when you texted me asking if it was all spoken word, I'd already listened to it.
Yeah,
and I knew as I was listening to it, I was like, "Oh, Tyler's gonna fucking hate this. He's gonna think it's awful." And so when he texted me, I was like, it was confirming to me. It was vindication for myself. And so I was like, yep, yeah, there's no way he likes this, because not only is it spoken word, but some of the spoken word is like live, and he like recorded it himself, and it's just horrible quality.
You could tell he was like at like a small club or something like that, and he had like a tape recorder in the back, and of him just like talking into a microphone. You could barely hear him at points. Like you could hear the chatter of people around more than you can hear him speaking sometimes at points.
But there was good. I mean, that's my favorite. That's my favorite Black Flag album. I think that's their best.
Yeah.
And so there's just something really earnest about what Henry Rollins brought to this band. This band went from being just a typical fucking run-of-the-mill punk band. There was nothing special about them until really Rollins stepped up and started helping write music and rewriting some old songs and just being like a front man and forcing everybody else to do better, because Rollins brought this energy, but also brought this seriousness. And had it not been for Rollins, this band maybe would have gotten goofier as time went on and gotten a little more self-deprecating. And so I think like Rollins is the best thing that ever happened to this band. But there's just something really earnest about this, and hearing him speak, even though I think he sounds really goofy when he talks, and I giggle sometimes. I just think I think it's really cool that he writes a poem about what it's like to be a fucking rat. And that
was my favorite track. Favorite spoken word track was the rat one.
And it was just like, dude, it's so stupid. It's so fucking dumb, but it was so like eloquently written. And I felt compassion for her rat. And I've always liked Ratatouille. That's my favorite Pixar movie. So I've never hated rats, but it's just like, who writes a song about a fucking rat? And just that's...
Well, no, it was like, to me, it was like him comparing like poverty-stricken or poor people, how we treat poor people. We treat poor people the same way we treat rats.
Right.
So that's kind of what I was getting from it. So just like that Like it was such a simple idea and such a simple concept, like you said, but it's the way he projects it and presents it to the audience is just, dude, I was entranced. Like that entire record, I was just like, I kept thinking, like after the spoken word part ended and it was instrumental, I was thinking, dude, I got to get more into like his spoken word stuff, like his stuff in the late 80s. Like that's all he did was spoken word in the late 80s. And now I just like really want to get into that. I'm like invested. Like I'm gonna, after this week, I'm going out and like listening to more Henry Rollins.
Maybe
I totally dug it.
Maybe Henry Rollins will be like the turning point in your poetry career, and maybe you'll have newfound respect for some of the big guns that have come out before Henry Rollins.
Isn't that's like so adolescent too? That's so 13-year-old right there. Like Henry Rollins, like getting you into poetry, like it's so basic and simple. But
no, what's truly adolescent is to never get into it. Is to put it off entirely forever. That's truly adolescent.
That's true.
Okay, buddy boy, don't sell yourself short.
All right. Well, I'm definitely interested in it. So I'm stoked to get more into just Henry Rollins in general. Like I just quickly read through his stuff, and I always thought he's very outspoken, obviously, but he's had some fucked up things happen to him in his life that I never knew about. Like his friend that he lived with was shot in the face right next to him.
Yeah.
And then he did something really weird. I guess, it's weird. Like where his friend died, he collected the soil, the blood in the soil, and he keeps it in his house.
That's, I don't know.
I guess it's a way of coping. But
you watch a lot of crime shows because you have to, I guess. But like people do weird shit when people die. Yeah. Like people deal with things differently, and it's weird and bizarre, but it's not that weird.
Yeah, it's just I was surprised, and how he was molested as a child, growing like multiple times growing up, and how he's never been in any sort of relationship.
Well, that's why he's never going to have kids, and he doesn't ever want to have kids, just because take it for what it's worth, but that type of childhood trauma that he went through, even though he would never do it, you think, and so but that's just where he's at. His mind doesn't want to bring kids into this world because of what happened to him, and that sucks that he can't like break the two things apart. But you also can't like blame him for thinking that way.
And we'll talk about it on the Damaged episode, because that one, there's like one or two songs on there that I feel like directly correlate with his current life and stuff like that, and just how his personal life throughout the years. So, yeah. So, do you got anything else on Family Man since that's your favorite?
No, that's it.
Okay. So, yeah. So my favorite is Damaged. So I'm not going to get into that. So stay tuned for the main episode, because we're getting into Black Flag's debut album. So listen right now. That's it. That's all. David Jeffy.